All right, everyone.
Is it actually? Oh,
Oh my God, Luis has to interrupt me right when I start.
I,
Okay, all right. Okay, looks like we only have a couple people in here. Thank God for that. All right. I know there's no less game going on right now, so thank you for tuning in. As always, this will be put on YouTube after the stream. Um, you can watch it there in case you miss it here. I'm joined tonight by Stoikion. He's going to be player, um, our player spotlight player. So I'm happy to have him join us. I know less veteran. Uh,
Happy to be here, Drew.
I
Very
appreciate
excited.
I appreciate it. We have Captain Kixa of
Hi.
Thigh Highs Save Lives. Okay,
Just
it's
go with THSL.
okay. Yeah, well, she's here to join us to bring us um, some experience from the blue side of the bracket, and from the gold side of the bracket, we have pregnancy risk from the League Boomers. So uh, we have a good stream going tonight. We're going to talk about I would say the largest trade in OLS history. I'm interested to see Twitch chat's thoughts and get the thoughts from some of these people. As I mentioned before, we will do a player spotlight for uh, Mikey here, called Stoichi. Oh, you're not called anymore. Just Stoichion. Just Stoichion. As he's a returning player, and some people might not know about him. Then we're just gonna do a quick recap of the games that happened. As you can see, this is week 1.5 for Ace, and that's because only half the games were played so far. So we're going to skip over some stuff that we did last week. We're not going to do rule MVPs this week, but we're going to double up on that kind of stuff next week. So don't worry, you won't miss out on your role MVPs if you performed really well. I just want to get all the data and all the games in before I make that decision. And then we'll jump into the standings real fast, games to watch, and I have a top three place that people will send in clips wise. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, um, I got very few few plays to choose from. So if you're out there and you're getting your game streamed or you have a great play, go into the um, what's it called? Help me out, guys. What's the thing?
Facebook
No,
or
the thing,
Replays?
the replays. Thank you.
oh,
Go into your replay feature. Snag the highlight. You can send it to me on Facebook, or you can send it on Discord, whatever. And then we'll get those in there. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into our Ace show, week 1.5. Again, joined by my guests. Uh, I don't know how much people know, but there was a huge trade in the OLS, something that doesn't happen very often, to say the least. And it's kind of the trade that some people are not happy about, and understandable. So let's get into the aspects of the trade, and then we'll talk about a little bit with our fellow captains here. So the Draft Dodgers, formerly known as LA Kobe 24, are going to be trading Amazing Grace and Smegs to a Wild Manatee has appeared. Uh, they're going to send back Lord of Manatees and just Sweet Rab, and so we're going to just get a 2-for-2 trade there. Um, I'm sure some of you saw the post where Rab and Neil were going to quit. Obviously, that is not the case anymore. They have joined a new team through this trade. Smegs is going to maintain his role as a captain, but he's going to swap over to the new team. A Wild Manatee has appeared. Um, the Draft Dodgers, I will be taking over. I don't know what happened to the PowerPoint there, but I will be taking over as the captain of the Draft Dodgers. Uh, just something one of us had to take on the mantle, and I chose to. Obviously, that makes me a little biased in the whole situation. Um, and we also are replacing King Ramus with ABP, Andrew Peffel. So we're effectively creating a completely new team in the middle of the split. And honestly, I just kind of want your guys' reactions on that. We'll go to Luis first.
you know, when this was first announced, I was very much against it. I'm probably still very much against it now. Um, the trade between Lord of Manatees and Josui Rab for Amazing Graces and Smegs, that's like trading a challenger player for a plat player, and especially in the Smegs and Josui Rab portion of that trade. So, I argued it. I thought that it wasn't fair, but you know, starting out as an 0-4 team, uh, might help out there. But I don't know. That's my take on it.
That's a good point that I actually forgot to mention here. Um, one of the teams was 0-4 and the other was 0-2. So as a like a little side part of this, because there were some people that weren't happy with it, the new super team, as I'll put them in air quotes, have decided to take on the 0-4 record. That was part of the way that this could come together, and so it's going to be hard to dig themselves out of that. They only have 6 games left in the entire split. And we'll get into the standings a little bit later, and it'll show that that could be a little bit too much to overcome. Um, Kixer, you're on the other side of the bracket. What did you feel about this trade? It does actually impact you a little bit now that I think I'm so sorry, I totally forgot. Because you actually are in a Wild
Yes.
Manatee as appearance division. So you want to go ahead and tell us
Mhm.
how you think about the draft or about this trade and how you feel about it?
Well, I tried to see look, I not just from the perspective of my division, but from both, and I agree with Luis that you now essentially have a pretty stacked team, and but at the time I kind of figured, it's to be fair, like maybe something might happen. Maybe some team mental might go boom. You never know. I kind of want to see just how this unravels out. But I'd also like to, looking at this PowerPoint, I now sort of have the question, and I wish I asked this earlier, but so essentially we have Smegs, the captain, who sends himself out or trades himself out. Was that his decision, or did you volunteer to become captain, or do you know the
Yeah.
specifics?
I actually I worked behind the scenes to to come to a conclusion on what we should do with these two teams. So what was going to happen is we were going to have Sushi was the captain of a Wild Manatee has appeared,
Yes.
and she was going to have to find two perma subs. And I mean, if you've played in the OLS in the past, you know how sometimes it's kind of difficult to find a perma sub, and it's kind of an awkward thing. You're kind of bringing them into a new dynamic, and you know, not
Yeah.
no offense to that team, but the morale wasn't very high leading into the season.
Yeah.
So I think that was a tough thing. And then on the flip side, Smegs kind of strongly believed that Matt Landrum, our mid laner, he was going to also quit. And that's kind of hard to find. And with that and King Rammus kind of no showing on our team, he was going to have to find two replacements as well. And so it was kind of one of these things where, I went to Austin. I was like, here's a proposal, what we do. Um, like, tell me what you think. And he's like, is everybody okay with that? So then I went to Sushi and I went to Smegs and I asked them, would you be okay with this? I can take over the captain role. That like we don't have to worry about that. And Smegs is actually a pretty good captain, all things considered. So, and if Sushi didn't have the time or whatever, then that would work out really well for both teams. And that's how that kind of occurred. So it is weird that Smegs is trading himself, but realistically, the only reason he's trading himself is so we could take the 0-4 record, right?
I
That was
see. I
that's really the only
see.
reason. So it's kind of semantic about who's getting traded for who. We basically were combining the team of people that were quitting. I wasn't gonna quit. I mean, let that be known. But
Huh.
the team of people who were quitting, um, and then the team of people who wanted to be in the OLS still. And Sushi expressed that she wanted to play with Veilvex and Shampao. I think that's
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think that's his
So
name.
we didn't want to separate them with trades like for example, if maybe you traded like Matt and me for Sushi and Veilvex or something, and then
Oh,
you're leaving one of them behind. So it was kind of this situation that came about, and if the captains didn't agree with it, we wouldn't even move forward with it, but they did come together and they agreed. So
I see. I
that's what
see.
happened behind closed doors, as you would say. Um, and if they didn't like that, I think we just saw a lot of people quit, and there would have been perma subs.
Oh. Thank you
But
for the clarification.
yeah,
Though I am actually kind of curious though, Luis. Do you have any? I mean, I'm not saying you should like divulge any secret strats, but do you have like a plan of how to deal with the new Manatee Neil's team? Do you know how to deal with it now?
Well, if you look at the team on paper, for example, and
Okay.
you compare them to the other teams, they really aren't that higher elo than anyone else. So
I
it's
see. I
it's not
see.
like it's not that their team is OP elo wise or whatever. It's that most of the people there are friends. So and usually you have higher synergies. But
Mm.
how to deal with it? I guess it's just like any other team. You do your research, you see what they play, you try to play around it. It's just any other team. It's just they might have more synergy.
Also,
Ah.
Luis is lucky enough that he actually got the win last week against this team, so he doesn't have to worry about it unless we meet in the playoffs. So that is good. I wanted to get Mikey in on this because Mikey has participated in almost every OLS split, except for I mean from the get go, and like so he was there when like trades were a little bit more common and stuff like that. Have you ever seen this level of trade in the middle of the season, Mike?
No, I have not, and I, you know, I don't think that's a good thing that it's happening now. I think it kind of sets a bad precedent, whereas like maybe a team, after 1 or 2 games has a little bit rough go of it, so then a couple people just throw out the ultimatum like I'm either quit, trade me or I'm not playing. And so, I don't know, maybe this sets a bad precedent moving forward.
Yeah, I that was definitely a concern amongst other captains that we don't have on the show tonight. Um, and I would agree with that statement. And I think it could lead to a fundamental change in the way we do the drafting process. Um, I do believe that the auction type of draft was good at one point. I think it worked really well. Um, but when you
You
have
can
some,
really get hammered if you don't know what you're doing in the auction draft.
and I think
Is
that's what
is the thing.
happened to Sushi. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
she,
that's okay. Yeah, so addendum to my point is that 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 draft was like an historically bad, so it was bound to like blow up at some point. And so if this is the price for fixing, that that error, then, I mean, hopefully everyone involved can actually have some fun. You want to balance the integrity of the competition with like not subjecting people to bad things. But like I've been on bad teams before, sometimes you just got to like stick it out and sometimes you get better. So I don't want teams to give up too early. But yeah, this might be good, might be bad, I don't know.
yeah, and I definitely think at the end of the split, I'm gonna hold a special Ace episode where we try to figure out ways to improve the OLS. It seems like it's been pretty stagnant for like 4 or 5 years now, and I think there's always room for improvement. And whether that be with the draft, with the way we do certain things, I think that will be best, and maybe those can have effect on small things like this. Um, Obviously, the goal of the OLS has always been to have fun, meet new people. That's like always been a huge like goal of the admins and the group going all the way back to when it was founded. And I think that maybe the competitiveness is kind of getting away, and you have the case where people are getting bid up to these ridiculous numbers, and it's completely you know okay, like that one person, yeah, it's bad for them, but it's probably gonna be bad for the other 3 people you draft as well. So you're effectively ruining 4 people get like 4 people's tournaments or leagues, and they had no say over that. Now I know you say you could be a captain, but being a captain has its own issues, and we'll get into that some other time. So that is the trade breakdown. I'm excited myself because I get this new team that I haven't played a single game with in years. So I mean, everybody thinks we're a super team, but I don't know if that's quite true. And then we'll see if Amazing Grace, Smigs, and Sushi and Veilvex and Shampowwow they have a better time. You know, it didn't seem like Lord of Mantes and Just Sweet Rab were on the same page with them. So maybe we'll see a little bit more happiness come out of that team, and see if they can turn it around. So uh, that is um, that is our trade breakdown. So we have a couple more things to get to tonight. Um, that was the big thing. I know a lot of people were looking forward to hearing about that and hearing kind of what happened behind the scenes. I know there was never a post made or anything like that. It was kind of dealt exclusively in the captain's chat. But I think stuff like that should be shared, and we should try to not have something like this happen in the future, as Mikey said. I think it does set a bad precedent. And I'm sorry if the league feels like, the team that I'm now captaining has this unfair advantage, but uh, we'll have to see how that shakes out the rest of the season. Because I feel like if we just do bad next week, it's not going to matter anyways. So, again, we'll see how that shakes down. All right, so Kixa and pregnancy risk, we're gonna put you guys on the back burner for a couple minutes because we're gonna talk about Mikey in our player spotlight. Um, if you don't know Mikey, he Michael Alba, of course. Got his nice little Facebook
Of
picture right
course.
here.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
end game,
Handsome.
end game name, Stoichion, used to be known as Cost Stoichion. We'll get to that in a second. Preferred position, 80 carry. That's been your position as long as I've known you. Have you ever switched it up at all? Like,
In the OLS, I think I may have. I think I started off top lane for like one split, and then I maybe fed as a support for another, but mostly AD carry. Yeah, yeah. I peaked in solo queue as support though.
did you really?
Yeah, I was Diamond 3 support one season.
Oh, okay. Um, I said a couple times he's an inaugural member of the OLS. He was there from the get-go. Um, if you think sometimes the league doesn't have itself together, you should have saw back then. Uh, a lot fewer teams too. There was like 8. Um, he's a 3-time champion or 4. You know, we don't really have a history that's
Yeah, I don't know.
in depth enough to help us. And most of those are you captaining them, right? Those
Yeah, I was the
championships.
I was the captain of every squad that I won with, I think.
Wow.
I've been the captain on most of my teams, I think, and then this split, I didn't have nearly as much time, so I decided to take the back seat and just be a team member.
Well, that paid off for you. You got drafted. I think were all of the Wash players. Like you got put in a position that like the Wash players wanted to get put into. Like for me, example, right? Like I didn't want to get. I wanted to get picked for like 10 points by somebody who doesn't care if I do
Right.
well or not.
Yes.
And so I mean, you went for much more than 10 points, obviously, but that's because I just think that Luis put together a great draft and he had a lot of points left over, and he's like, I'm just getting Mikey now. So that's what happened. Uh,
Yeah, he way overspent on me in my mind. So I've kind of felt this obligation and responsibility to get unwashed to live up to the amount of points because I don't want to feel like I'm letting my team down. So I'm just trying to live up to my 40 points.
well,
Well,
to talk about that, right? Your current KDA is 10.33, so I definitely think you're living up to it. That's definitely one of the higher KDAs in the league right now. Obviously, some people are still on their only played 2 games, so we'll see some people fall back to earth after this week, I guess. And so I think 10.33 is a really good place to sit after 2 weeks. So I think you're definitely showing, that you could be maybe not the person you were once, but you're perfectly fine on this team and in this year of the OLS.
Yeah, it's been an adjustment on this team. I think I'm the, third or fourth highest rated person, so I don't need to be the carry that I once was. But I think I'm able to fit the role that they need, and that's good enough for me.
So before this, I was talking to you on Facebook, and you listed Ashe and Twitch as your favorite 2 champions, and this has gone back as almost as long as I've known you. You've always been a fan of uh, I don't want to call them off meta, but you've never been like a meta sheep when it comes to the AD carries. You like a certain brand of AD carry, I would say, and you've effectively used it all throughout your OLS career. Can you give some insight on why you think Twitch and Ashe, or why those 2 are your favorite champions?
Yeah, I think even at my peak, uh, even at my peak for League of Legends, I've never been a good mechanical or laning player. I've always I've always had my strength as shot calling and team fights and just as the overarching macro strategy of the game. So I really like champions that can really lean into that. And Ashe is a really unique champion. It's the only AD carry. I don't know, maybe some of the new AD carries can do it, and I haven't played that, but she's the only AD carry that can really engage a team fight, especially from long range with her arrow. So it's just really invaluable if you know what you're doing and you know when you can take fights that you can win. It can just really change games for your team. And on the flip side of Twitch, differently, he's just more of a team fight oriented champion, and his stealth or camouflage now can really open up opportunities that you just can't get with other AD carries.
All right, that makes a lot of sense, and I gotta ask about this. I feel like if you've been in these streams or have been on the Facebook wall, you see that there is a natural rivalry between you and Poggies. Ah shit, I messed it up again. With Poggies, do you want to talk about that friendly banter you guys have between each other and the race to be the best AD carry in your division?
Yeah, me and Bill, we're messaging each other. There's some flack going between us. I think, you know, he's at Diamond 3 now as AD carry, so he's higher at AD carry than I ever was. So I don't think there's a real contest between who's the best AD carry on paper. But, maybe I can give him a run for his money as far as fitting into a team and strategy. I'm not really sure. I love Bill. We have some good times. I'm really looking forward to our matchup, hoping I can hold my own against him.
Who's the better Ash?
The better
Great
Ash. Oh
question.
man.
Seeing how you like him, and I recall there was a picture of him like absolutely spamming a lot of Ash games in ranked.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
he did stream
there's
it.
a weird obsession with Law at Pitt and Ash
Yeah.
AD carry. Even when she was bad. Even when she was bad, like uh everyone was still playing her. Like I played her like consistently. Clark's the real uh genesis of the Ash and Pitt movement, and so I would say he's the best. Like no one will ever touch Clark
Oh.
on Ash. So
We
me and
we
Bill are fighting for second.
Clark is the reason you cannot say Ash in Hanjaro LOL stream. Fun
That's
fact.
true.
You will
Huge.
get permabanned on site. That was a fun night though. That's a
Wow.
story from another time. When you beat a streamer who averages 50 viewers and all of LOL and Pit invades his stream and says, "How's that Ash taste?" It's a good time. It's a good time for everybody involved. Mikey, thank you for joining us for the player spotlight. I actually really like this whole uh, this whole formula for a weekly spot in this. So if you're a player and you think that you're worthy of the player spotlight and you want to be on the show, you don't have to stay for the whole show. You can just come on just for your little interview. It's a fun time. It's a fun thing. You'll get a slide just like Mikey's. And I hope there's some people out there who would wanna partake in it because it's always nice to get one of these like kind of one-on-one interviews. With somebody performing really well. And Mikey has a lot of history in the OLS and LOL Pit, so I thought he made a perfect first candidate. And he actually just wanted to come on the show today, so it was a double win for me. So
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Huge fan of the show, Drew. Love what you're doing. Love that Ace is back. I'm having a lot of fun in this split. And yeah, we'll see
this,
where the season goes.
yeah, that was one of my things. If we go back to the trade thing, I told Smegs like if you don't trade me, it's not the end of the world to me because I'm having so much fun. I'm doing Ace. I've been streaming a lot. Even my girlfriend's been streaming with me, like casting. She's trying her best. She's not there. She's not quite there yet, but she's getting there. She gives me a dirty look from the couch. But so I've been having a lot of fun with the split. If I could, I'll be having fun if I'm 0-10. Uh, Obviously, I would like to win some games, but so I think this split is a lot of fun, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going into the summer. But again, that was the player spotlight with Mikey, and we're gonna jump into the weekly breakdown. So, as I've alluded to a couple times, this weekly breakdown is kind of annoying because half the teams in the league did not play. That kind of sets up for a very difficult weekly breakdown. So I've split it into divisions, and we'll try to do our best. But of the games that have been played already, all of them were 2-0s. So they weren't very close. Um, Umani Johnny said that he's playing Senka's team right now, which I'm aware of, but that does not help me for this show right now. So let's get into the weekly breakdown. So this was our first week of conference play. So you played the other division, and so I'm gonna let some of the other captains talk. Maybe they watch these teams. If they didn't watch their teams, they don't really have to give an opinion. That's fine. I just want to get them involved a little bit. First up was the Lowlifes 2-0 over Unstick the Lick. Do either you captains or Mikey, did you guys happen to watch these games or see the outcomes of them? Because I watched Slicko go absolutely insane both games on Vayne.
Unfortunately, I didn't watch that game.
Okay, well there will be a hint, there will be a clip that you should want to see coming up later in the show from Slicko's Vayne.
Huh.
Luis, did you guys play Unstick the Lick in week 1 or did you play the other team that wasn't Berry Berry?
We played Luigi's Ghost Hunters.
You played Luigi. Okay, so Unstick the Lick unfortunately drops to 0-4 after this week. Um, I think they faced two of like the top 5 teams in the league though, so that's just kind of bad luck. I kind of have to see what happens from there, but they still have you on their schedule. Um, can you talk about maybe what do you think about the disparity maybe in your division? It feels like there is a like natural like you and Berry Berry, which have a huge matchup this weekend, and then you have the other two teams that just seem to be maybe a little bit overmatched. And maybe we need to look at that in the future when we're balancing divisions.
Yeah, so in the Steelers division, it's basically just kind of Biri and the League Boomers. The other two teams, I'm not sure where they're falling off. They seem to have good players and they seem to have a good spread. Um, but so now that you bring up the low lives and Unstick the Lick, I did think that Unstick the Lick had a good game too. They did a bunch of role swaps the second game, and they kind of got into a better position. Um, however, I'm pretty sure that was the game that Slicko got that pentakill.
Yeah.
But regardless, it wasn't as bad as the first game. The first game they got stomped every single lane, every single position. Second game they were kind of on the up and up. They were ahead in gold and whatnot, but so maybe with the position change they're going to be on the rise. But it how it is now, it doesn't seem like Luigi's Ghost Hunters or Unstick the Lick are gonna be too successful this split.
Okay. That was great insight from your division. I also wanted to point out for the lowlights, we had Slicko, we had Staj, and we had Dunsey come through for the team. All three of them put up ridiculous KDAs this week. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. Uh, but I think all three did really well. Brandon put up like ridiculous numbers. I believe he had 25 kills in one game and 17 in another. He is by far leading the OLS in kills, and it's not that close to be honest. Now I know that their team has the issue where they have the least experienced player in the OLS, and that could be unfortunate. But they're kind of carrying him through, and they're putting him on the top lane, which is it's kind of a scary place to go, I think, in this league. But they're doing the old school strategy of sticking your top lane or your lower experienced player in the top lane and just getting him on a tank. And it's paying off for them. They moved to a 3-1 record after a 2-0 this week. So we'll have to see how they extend through the season. Um, I think this is one of those teams to watch out for. Obviously, you'll see them in the playoffs. Because you guys are on the same side of the division, Luis and Mikey actually. Um, Mikey, are you afraid of going against Slicko and Staj in that bot lane at all?
I that it probably is the best, if not one of the best bot lanes together. So I haven't watched their games, but we have scrimmed them a couple times, and they were like very competitive games. I think it was a 1-1 split, and the second game it was bot diff. Like their bot destroyed us. So,
All right.
so am I afraid? I just think Brandon has a very unique AD carry style. He's like the most aggressive AD carry, and that can really throw people off, especially if they're not experienced, and sometimes even if they are experienced. So he's definitely a threat just with the way he plays, and his Vayne is very good. And Stadge is a very good support, maybe the best right now. I'm not really familiar with all of the teams and bot lanes, but yeah, that's definitely a bot lane to watch and be afraid of. And I think they have a chance against any team. That team, I think they're very good.
All right. Let's move into the second game. I actually forgot that you guys were in this game. Okay, so it was the League Boomers over what was recently known as LA Kobe 24. Obviously, we had to forfeit one game. Speaking from the LA Kobe 24, we had to forfeit one game. Then we had to sub a jungler in the second game who doesn't play jungle, and it was kind of a nightmare. Pretty easy week for you guys. I got to see Minoy firsthand destroy my team. Luis destroying my team because there was a glitch with a pink ward. I firmly believe that because none of us saw him. Yeah. Is there anything you guys have to say about that game? It was a pretty convincing win for you guys. There wasn't much. And there will be more from this game later in a clip. Not to spoil anything, but very decisive game-winning team fight. And we'll watch that a little bit later. Do you have anything to say about this game? It was kind of not really that exciting. It ended pretty quick, all things considered, and it just kind of felt like we were always behind.
Yeah, it was just a standard game. You know, lanes are doing even, and then there's jungle diff,
Yeah.
and that's just what got our lanes ahead. And then taking dragons, taking barons, taking towers, winning team fights, just kind of your normal play. There was no cheese, nothing like that. So yeah, it was
Wait,
a
there
good
was
week for the
cheese.
League Boomers.
Wait, there was cheese.
No cheese.
Yeah, no, we cheesed you.
Oh, that
We killed you.
cheese level 1.
Yeah,
Yes.
we got the cheesy invade, but yeah, it didn't really end up mattering. Yeah, standard game. You go.
You could tell that the LA Kobe 24 team, that their spirit and morale was completely broken and they didn't really want to play. So I feel like the game could have been more competitive than it was, but you can see why the team disbanded shortly thereafter.
Yeah,
They just didn't want to play, and yeah,
that game.
can't really learn much from it.
It exposed a lot of issues. Our jungler ghosted us at that point. Uh, we couldn't find a sub. I mean, like Luis generally, he like actually gave us a sub who was way better than he should have. We probably should have been an 0-2 forfeit. But I appreciate that we got to play those games. So we'll just skip past that. Obviously you guys moved to 4-0 on the season. Um, and the third game that was played is a game that I thought was going to be a lot closer. I think it just goes to show how bad we were as LA Kobe 24 because the Mod Squad kind of thoroughly beat us in week 1, and then Berry Berry Gaming absolutely stomped them in week 2. I don't really know what to say. I think Kale's Vault and Cancellation are the best mid jungle pair in the league. They thrive together. I streamed this game and Kale's Vault's roaming. Him and Sab are the only two mids I watch like effectively roam. And they're like almost never in lane, but then when you look at the CS, they're up 50 CS, 60 CS. So he's actually there. This team's really fun to watch. And obviously, I'm excited for your guys' game this weekend. That's like probably one of the most hype OLS games I've been excited to watch because both of you guys are coming in like, you both rolled over your competition. You both look to be really good teams. We kind of have like that little rivalry between Poggies and Stoichion. So I guess I'm gonna use this time. Are you guys? How do you guys feel about this weekend? It's kind of a hype game, and I definitely think both teams will make the playoffs easily. But this has to give you some kind of inclination of how the rest of the season is gonna go if you can do well against them this week.
This, like you said, this game is going to be pretty hype. It's between the two teams that are undefeated, and I've been talking to my team about how we're going to handle it, and we're just going to try to handle it how we do the other games. So the one thing that caught my eye with this team is that like you said, Sab and Killsval, they tend to roam a lot. So some of the key things for our game is just going to be calling people out when they're moving, just making sure that follow people, but it's just gonna use what we've learned in our game, and hopefully that's that's enough to bring them down.
You're
It
gonna
seems-
hit Poggies with that bot diff if you win.
you absolutely. There's gonna be a lot of all chat for whoever wins. There's just gonna be so much BM coming out of that game. I think this game. I think our team's biggest weakness is ourselves. So I think as long as we go out and like execute our game plan, and we don't get caught up and tilted and let them dictate the pace of the game. As long as we take control and do what we want to do, then I think we should be able to win this game.
All right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that wraps up the Penguins and Steelers division. Um, I know obviously there was one more game, but as you can see, that was not played. And that happens, and less sometimes we just fall a week behind. And there's usually actually like a catch-up week built into the schedule for reasons like this, so it's not that unusual. What is unusual is the Panthers and Pirates division had 3 teams not play, or 3 sets of teams not play. So we actually only got one game, and that was Team 11 with a 2-0 over Monopoly fucking sucks. Um, MFS came into this game 2-0, and they got like thoroughly handled by Team 11. I think the biggest surprise was we actually got to see Spencer in the jungle, which is not something that he mains or anything like that, and he performed extremely well. Straight up carried game 1 with the help of Sab. Game 2 he played a little bit more supporty, and Sab carried that as well. Yeah, we see Northar in chat. He said his Olaf was nasty. Yeah, it was pretty disturbing how far ahead he got, and a fed Olaf just gets to run down your bot lane, which isn't really fair. Um, so that was those games kind of ended pretty quick. The second game I believe actually was a lot closer than the first game. If I kind of remember that, and I think that was the Zaya game. Because Zaya was able. The biggest problem in game 1 was the Jinx. He was playing. He is Imperio, one of the better AD carries in the league. He was playing Jinx, and Olaf just ran the Jinx down every time. So he played something with a little bit of self peel in Zaya in game 2, and they performed a little bit better. But yeah, it was kind of a convincing win. And again, Team 11 is one of those teams that I picked early on, right after the draft, as a team that I think can compete for the championship. And they're kind of just showing it. There's not much to say. Sab also was terrific in the mid lane on unconventional picks that I wasn't really expecting out of him. Syndra was pretty good. That's a conventional pick, but he picked Karma in game 1. It was a little weird. So Kixa, this is your side of the bracket.
Yes.
Obviously, we don't have much to talk about. You didn't play, for
I-
example, and stuff like that. But I just want to get your general feel of your side of the bracket. There's like the team 11 in the top lane, or in the top part, and then I just want to have your opinion of you're in the division with 2 extremely good bot lane players. I believe you played Pharaoh in week 1, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And then you're gonna have to play Imperio sometime this season, obviously. Can you touch on how hard it is to go into games like that, knowing that you're facing, one of the maybe top 7 to 10 players in the league in that position?
Well, during the nights when I'm not crying myself to sleep after that one game against Pharaoh, I've started actually. I've actually started to trying to take the AD carry role more seriously. Actually, looking at videos and practicing a lot more. I guess. And well, I've played with Imperio before, as on his team on a previous OLS. I was a support,
Okay.
and assuming that he plays similarly to the way he did back then, I feel like I think I have a certain idea of how to beat him in lane.
Okay.
Assuming that he plays the same back then, and
Go ahead.
I just also sorry.
I said go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were waiting for me. Go ahead.
To add, I guess for Team 11, I'm glad Sab got a nice two definitive wins right there. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Because that only helps you in your hopes to get into the playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
I guess we already touched on a Wild Manatee has appeared earlier and how your feelings about that team. Did you want to dive a little bit into that more, or you think you're
Yeah,
good?
maybe a little.
Okay, go
Maybe a
ahead.
little. Our team actually really just sort of talked. sort of talked a lot about what it was going to be like of going into the Manatee team. But now with Smegs in there, I'm now extra pumped to go up against him now.
Hashtag fuck Swigs, right?
What? No, no, no. He was a past teammate of mine,
Well,
and
it's
also
okay.
another past teammate of mine, and well, this is I. I'm pretty sure he's gonna play AD carry, so I just wanna show him show him how I play AD carry now.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what that team does. They have an 0-2 record, so obviously that's why their game wasn't played. There was the kind of the drama between them.
Hmm.
I think Forfeit at 15 is actually playing their 2 sets within the next 4 days. So I think they just had somebody out of town last week. Um, and then you guys just didn't play your game. But I'm sure. Was there a reason? Just couldn't get the schedule
Oh,
together?
so about that, um, uh, I'm not quite sure if Jared told you or anyone else, but he's actually New York right now. So the game that we're actually gonna play against V-Dog, he's gonna be playing with his hotel Wi-Fi. He said that he could still play the same, he just can't do flashy stuff, so I believe in him.
What is Jared doing in New York? This
I,
man is
I
never where he needs to be. First he's in Korea or China, wherever
was
he
he?
was, wherever he went, and now he's going to New York. He's never just here. What is he doing? I
It's a
don't know.
handicap. It's a handicap. He can't show his full true power.
Jared needs to put on his OLS submission. Chances are I'm probably not going to be located in the area I'm supposed to be during the split. Um,
I
okay.
didn't know that was part of the application.
I think he should put it in his little notes. I don't know. He just seems to
Oh,
never
I
be.
guess.
He has never be there. Um, but that was the weekly breakdown. We're gonna jump into the standings, and there was a little confusion, I believe, about how the standings were gonna go this split. So I got the breakdown. So we used to do it where it was a 2-0 series, and you got points based off of your record. Um, so that's no longer the case. We're just doing an overall record this split, and that's what you're going to see on these standings. So we're just going to go through these pretty quick. Um, in the Penguins division, we have the Lowlives at 3-1. And the tiebreaker is the divisional record. So for example, if Mod Squad was also 3-1, they would be in first place, but they are not. So it's pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of just like any other sports team you ever watched. So through 2 weeks, the Lowlives are at 3-1. And then we jump over the Steelers division, and we see that the difference between top and bottom that we already pointed out earlier, with two teams at 4-0 tied for first because they also have the same divisional record. Obviously, that's going to change this week. I guess technically they could still be tied because you guys could go 1-1, but we should see at least one loss go to one of those teams. Team 11 seems to be kind of running away with the Panthers division. Again, it's only the second week, but that is 40% of the season. A lot of games have not been played yet, though. So, example, B Dogs, Bloomberg, they can go 2-0 this week, and get right up there into the standings.
Team 11 is stacked. They're very good.
They are.
Whatever team lost to them this week, and Luis said it was close. Like that team should not feel bad about getting 0-2. They might be like a top 3, top 2 team because Team 11 is the best.
Yeah, and that was Monopoly fucking sucks. And they actually are still sitting at second in their division. And like I think you bring up a good point. You were talking about Slicko and Stage earlier as probably one of the best bot lanes in the whole league. I think Northar and Imperio are right up there with them. I think that's another super good bot lane. And those are my two picks right now for best bot lane of the year. Like I said, we'll do those kind of awards at the end of the season. But we have this division. These rankings standings don't really matter in this division. I think this division's up for grabs. I think kind of everybody can win it. Maybe a Wild Manatee as a ride can't, but everybody else can. I just think we're gonna have to see how we're gonna need this week to shake down before we can truly tell what's gonna go on there. Um, let's get into the series I'm excited for. Obviously, we've talked about a couple times. Berry Gaming is versing the League Boomers. I believe that is 6:30 on Saturday. Hopefully, we can get a streamer for this game. because it's a very good game, and I can't wait. In the second series, I'm excited for. It's FFF 15 versus Monopoly fucking sucks. I think that's gonna be, first of all, it's Pharaoh versus Imperio, which is exciting to watch. And then it's also, I think it's gonna be for first place in the division at that time. So I think it's gonna be a pretty important game. And then the last one is Team 11 versus Michael Bloomberg 2020. And like Mikey said, I kind of just love watching Team 11 play, and I want to see if they can keep up this. Just they're kind of just bodying every team they face so far. So we're gonna see if they can keep that up. So after last week, people in Twitch chat told me they wanted to see uh, the top 5 plays, etc., something like that. So we tried our best to get plays this week. Not a lot of games got streamed. Obviously, there was only 4. So there was a kind of a lack of plays, I'm not going to lie. I was able to scrounge up a top 3, I believe. And these plays aren't always like the flashiest plays. Sometimes they're just plays of great teamwork in the OLS. So maybe if you guys see the level that we're putting up here today, you'll be more willing to submit clips that you find. And again, you can use the replay feature. That's what Mikey did actually, to submit a clip this week. And it worked out really well. So let's get into the top 3 clips. I have to find a more effective way of doing this than what I have now. Right now I just have a new scene set up. Okay, so this is the first clip. This is actually Luis and Mikey's team. And this was a team fight that honestly we had absolutely no reason to take. But I want you guys to keen in on the Twitch, who is slightly off screen to your left right now, and watch how little kills he gets, but the amount of damage he does. As you see, this is a dragon fight. Red team going for the engage. I don't know what Elise was doing here, but we see the engage on the Darius, and Twitch is just spraying and praying from the side. Picks up only one of the kills though, as his whole team is able to steal it. But I think if we had one of those really nice graphics that showed the damage done in the fight, Mikey, you would have done a lot. Can you tell me what was going through your head on this play?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier with why Twitch is my favorite champion, it's for moments just like that in a team fight where I'm sitting back, I'm actually in stealth, so they don't actually know where I am. So then once they commit into that big clump, and then obviously the CC from teammates coming in, it was just already over. Like before I even began firing, the team fight was already over just because of positioning.
Yeah.
So you
And,
don't really go for try to go for the sneaky snipes of right behind them, behind quarters when they least expect it?
I mean, yeah, that's always in Twitch's toolkit, but when you're playing around objectives like that, sometimes you don't have to be flashy. You can just be in the right spot at the right time, get the same results.
And that play necessarily wasn't to show how good you were necessarily, but that was also a really well fought team fight. Your
Yes, exactly.
Minoy on Darius. Like, you guys all leave this fight with there's 2 people with a health bar, and Minoy's the only one below half health, and he's he got a double kill or something. So that was a really good team fight by you guys, and that came in as our number 3 play of the week. Our number 2 play of the week was a play that happened when I was streaming. I thought the Nami bubble stopped this Jarvan here, but it was actually the Draven. He's able to stop the Jarvan who's trying to flag drag away. This was too little too late for Mod Squad in this game, but I thought at the time it was a very good play by Nunu680.
Could you slow it down so we could see?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so fast, right? I don't know.
There
how to
should
slow
be a gear or something.
Okay.
Click the gear, maybe?
Oh yeah, okay. We'll do it. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Okay, we can get into nice 0.5. So, as you can see, Cancellation is trying to get out of here. Gets the Nami bubble, but he threw. So the flag drag is going through, but then you see the Draven. I think it's his E, right?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see.
It captures the Cancellation and gets a nice pick for his team. I thought this was a really nice play by Nuno680. Secured his team a kill, and at this time, 16-11, there was definitely room for comeback, and I kind of forget what happened after this play, but I don't think they were able to capitalize as well as they should have after it. But again, still a good play by Nunu 680 on the Draven to catch the Jarvan out. I thought it was a great team play, and they pick up the kill there. So that was play number 2. A little bit different mechanically skilled play. Yes, the clips are OLS games only. So we're gonna go into the third clip, and I'm actually gonna play the audio for this clip because it was pretty well casted by Aiden and John. So we're just gonna be a little quiet, and we'll let you guys just listen to the clip of this beautiful pentakill by Brandon.
Follow. They get a root on the Slicko as well.
Wait, hold on.
Here comes the Ornn ultimate.
Stash
picking up
misses
3
the
knockups. Stash drops the ultimate behind him, but look at this damage front to back for red team. The Malphite comes in, just delays the inevitable. Ultimate onto Anivia. She gets out. It's a big CC from Amumu now. Hold on, this could be the re-engage. Slicko is untouched, and there he goes, popping off, doing Vayne things. Triple kill, flashes onto Masterlock, and Masterlock unable to get the kill, and they could give this pentakill over to Vayne, and there it is, penta kill.
So, as you can see, Brandon went absolutely insane on the Vayne there. I guess you could say that with a pentakill, there always has to be some amount of luck. I will run it back in a second, Stoppable Force. And that, I think his team did a really good job at disengaging. And then nobody seemed to target him. So let's run this back, and we'll watch it again. This time I'll mute it a little bit. I know that was really loud volume, but let's go ahead and watch this again as our number 1 play of the week. After this play, we'll get into Twitch chat.
They get a root on the Slicko as well.
Wait, hold on.
Here comes the Ornn ultimate.
Stash
picking up
misses
3
the
knockups. Stash drops the ultimate behind him, but look at this damage front to back for red team. The Malphite.
As you can see, this is why I could never play AD carry, because I could never be Slicko, who just sat in the back and did nothing. I would feel like so out of place. But that's why I couldn't. Well, he doesn't do anything until that's smart.
I know I said earlier that he's a very aggressive AD carry, and this is actually a lot of restraint and really well played by him. I think Brandon is evolving. If he's learned to play, cerebral and
ultimate onto
hold back like this, as well as play aggressive, then maybe I should be even more scared of him.
Oh wow! I didn't even notice it. If you play this from about 15 seconds,
from Amumu now. Hold on, this could be the re-engage. Slicko is untouched.
4-person or
it's a big CC onto Anivia. She gets out.
It's a big CC from Amumu now. Hold on, this could be the re-engage.
That really allowed for Slicko. And there he goes, popping off, doing Vayne things. Triple kill, flashes onto Masterlock.
Also, Aphelios is still
Masterlock unable to get the kill, and they could give this pentakill over to
Vayne. Beautiful pentakill right there by Slicko. As you can see, he has 12 kills in the game at that point. So yeah, that was our number 1 play of the week. I don't think we're gonna get very many plays that hype throughout the whole split. So again, please submit your plays. I would love to see them. And I would love to include more. I would like to get the top 5 actually, but unfortunately we didn't have very many given to us, and I wasn't gonna just play kind of average clips for you guys. So with that, we are gonna go into Twitch chat questions. It doesn't look like too many people are still here, about 11 or 12. But if you have any questions, go ahead and ask away. Any suggestions, you can tell me now. Things that you would want to see in the future, and if there isn't anything that you guys want to talk about, we'll end the stream here. Thank you to Pregnancy Risk, Stoichion, and Kixa for coming out today. Unfortunately, Kixa, nobody in your division plays, so we couldn't talk a lot about your division. That's
no, it's fine. It honestly was a bit of a rude awakening, but we're pumped to play the next one, though.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not mad that people didn't play. I just think that people lose interest in Ace if I skip a week. I don't think that ever ends well. So I wanted to get like a 1.5 in there. And like I said, next week is one of the exciting stuff that people love. People love to see the role MVPs, who got snubbed, who got the pick. That's all coming back next week. I'm hoping that we have a majority of week 2 and 3 games played, so I can do both weeks. If that's so, we'll probably have a little bit longer episode next week. And obviously, I might be joined by new captains, or maybe some old faces that used to be on the show before. Maybe my girlfriend will join me next week. I don't know. We'll have to figure out as the week goes on. There doesn't seem to be anything in Twitch chat, so I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. I hope the show was good. And I'll see you next week for the week 3, hopefully, aced episode. Thanks for coming out, and thank you guys.
Thanks for having me,
Thank you
dude.
for having
Thanks.
us. Bye.